Hey, Ag in the Classroom, it's Stephanie with LS and Trigo County Farm Bureau. Check it out, I'm sitting on a giant combine. That's right, today we're going to learn about a combine and what it does. We have an expert, her name is Laura Hoffner. She's co-owner of High Plains Harvesting, and she's going to tell us all about how a combine works. Her family goes out and harvests twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. So let's go see if we can find Laura. I saw her hanging around this combine just a few minutes ago. So let's see if we can find her. It's pretty big. Hey Laura, are you in here? No, I don't see her in here. Wonder if she's, hey Laura, are you in here? Are you in here? No? I don't see her in here. Let me go check somewhere else. How about under here? Laura! 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 Man, this piece of equipment's huge.
Hi, Stephanie. There you are.
Good deal. I'm glad to see you, Laura.
Well, welcome back here to the combine. What do you want to see first?
Well, first off, I'm really impressed that a young lady knows how to operate a combine. I thought that was only a job for guys.
No, it's not. In fact, there's lots of women combine drivers and people who help with all the harvest.
Very cool. Well, hey, let's take a tour around the combine.
Sounds great. Let's do it. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me today with my John Deere S770 combine. As Stephanie said, my name is Laura Hoffner, and I'm co-owner with my husband, Ryan, and we own High Plains Harvesting. So if you've never heard about a harvest crew before, our job is to travel around the country harvesting crops for farmers. Well, why might a farmer want to hire us? Well, maybe it's hard for him to find help. It's hard to find labor who can drive all the pieces of equipment. Maybe they're too busy doing other things on their operation. Maybe they have other priorities with their family. No matter the reason, we're the business for the job because we bring all the harvest equipment to them, to their farm, and make sure all their crops are safely taken from the field. So on our run, a run is what we call all the places that we travel to. So our first stop on our run is northern Texas each year, and we begin cutting wheat there. Next we move up into central Oklahoma, then south central Kansas. We make a big jump over to southeastern Colorado, move back into western Kansas, up to northeastern Colorado, and typically sometimes we sing into Nebraska, and then from there we go up to southern Montana. This year it was so droughty we didn't even get to make to our stop in North Dakota, and so we took all our machines to northern Montana. All right, so to be able to run a harvest crew, it takes a lot of people. I'm sitting here with a combine today, but a combine is just one piece of the puzzle. It takes people who can operate the tractor, which pulls a grain cart, as well as truckers. So typically on our wheat run, we run anywhere with like 10 to 15 people who help us in our operation. When we go to corn harvest or fall harvest, it takes a lot more people because there's a lot more bushels. So we might have up to 18 to 20 people at that time. One fascinating thing about our crew is they're not just Americans. We have the opportunity to meet with people from all over the world. So some of the people on our crew this year are from America. We have Kansans and we have someone from New York. We have people from New Zealand, South Africa, Scotland, Ireland, the UK, just all over. And it's a great opportunity to get to see how other people live and work together in other parts of the world. All right, so if we had the header on this, the header would have removed the crop, and now it's time to go in through the feeder house. So this is where all the crop grows. It travels down this mechanism here, and then inside the combine, it's gonna go into the threshing mechanism. So in the threshing mechanism, basically it's gonna rub that crop together, and it's gonna remove the grain from the plant material. So the leaves, the stems, etc. So Stephanie, why don't you come on and follow me around here. All right, so boys and girls, all of that work takes a lot of energy for the combine. So it needs food, but it doesn't eat food like we eat food, it needs fuel. So if you don't mind, would you guys go ahead and climb up the stairs and we'll go see where we put the fuel in the combine? All right, so thanks for climbing that ladder with me, and right now we are sitting right on top of the fuel tank. So like I said before, it takes a lot of energy to run these things, so this is where we open this hatch up. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get off, but we got it easily today. And we would fill it up right here. All right, it takes a special kind of fuel called diesel. So boys and girls, if you were going to the gas station with your mom and dad, you may have seen that nozzle and they put it in here and they fill your car up with gasoline. Well, diesel's a different type of fuel, and this is even different because it's farm diesel and it has a red dye to it. So I'll screw this back on, we'll pretend that we did it, and we filled it up. And we have to have special tanks that come to the field because a lot of our fields are way too far from town just to be able to pull our combine in. So we come up with trailers and we bring our hose and our nozzle and we fuel right here in the field. So another important part when you're operating machinery like this is to make sure you're taking safety precautions. And one of those precautions is making sure that we have properly filled fire extinguishers on the back of our combine. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it gets hot and dusty conditions. It can cause fires in the field. So we have to make sure we have these filled up and ready to go should an emergency happen. All right, boys and girls, so I've kind of shown you a little bit around the outside of the combine, but what do you think? Do you think we should go ahead and climb inside and start it? Yeah? All right, well, I have to warn you, it's kind of loud. Here we go. All right, boys and girls, welcome to the cab of the combine. So the combine is especially equipped to take up to 2 passengers. So this is the seat for the driver, and this is what we call the buddy seat. So if you see, there's safety features in here because if we're driving down the road or maybe in some difficult terrain, we definitely want to wear our seat belts so we don't accidentally go through the front window because accidents do happen. So the seat belts go across here or across my lap. It's very similar to what they would in a car. I have a little surprise for you down here. I bet you didn't know there's something under here. The combine gets hungry, but let me tell you, the operator gets hungry too. You have your very own refrigerator in the combine. How cool is that? All right, so you may notice that there's a lot of glass windows in this combine. So the reasons for that is it's very important to be able to see where you are. This is a big piece of equipment, so we have to make sure we're operating safely. So part of that means that you have to make sure you know where other people and other vehicles are so we don't accidentally crash or run over them. But I also need to be able to see what's my terrain like, what's the ground like in my field. So I have to be able to watch that and observe it to make sure I'm not running over anything or anyone. All right, so who likes to play video games? You guys do? You do? Well, you're in luck. So actually the control panel of the combine is set up very similar to some video games. So I have the hydrostat here, and it's almost like a controller of video games. So all these buttons do something different. I have a screen right here. This is going to tell me if there's anything going wrong with the combine. It might have a sensor or a warning. I also have my auto track information. Guess what the auto track does? Look, Mom, no hands. If I'm running straight down the field, it has an auto system with the GPS that causes my combine to run perfectly straight lines in the field. Now, it doesn't do everything by itself. It's not autonomous. I still have to turn around and navigate it around maybe some potential hazards out in the field. Some other things I can put in mapping so I know the boundaries of my farmer's field. I can put all the farmer's information. I have to set the combine up to tell what type of grain that we're harvesting, whether that's wheat, grain, sorghum, soybeans, etc. It also tells me how much fuel I have in the combine so I can make sure that I'm monitoring that. It tells me how much grain I'm bringing in through my feeder house and in through the combine. And so it also tells me the yield and let's see, the moisture as well. So there's a lot of information right here. And I also have lots of other settings to make it go fast and slow. I can lock it to make it safe, like the parking brake. All my music and my lights and my air conditioner and my heater can all be controlled at a fingertip right here as I work.
Hey Laura, what are you doing now?
Well, hey, before we get going, I was kind of thinking I might want to listen to some music. Do you like to listen to music while you work?
Well, absolutely. It's my favorite thing to do.
Awesome. Well, you're in luck. We can hook up my favorite playlist right here. And guess what? The Bluetooth system hooks it up to my phone and allows me to listen to music and talk hands-free if one of my customers or one of my employees calls. Pretty cool, huh? All right, Stephanie and students. So we've kind of taken you around. We've talked to you about some of the cool things that are in the cab. Now let's take it and move it up a little ways so you can see some of the other cool features. So one of the things that we have to do before we enter the field is that we have to open up the top of our grain tank right here, and Miss Stephanie will film that happening. If we kept it shut, we wouldn't be able to run the combine. So we have to open that up to make room for the auger and for all the different grain to come and pile on top, and then to be able to run that combine. So let's go ahead and move it up.
Hydraulic and electrics, and also installs the pins all at one time. It's called the single point hookup. So now all the hydraulic, electric, and pins are all installed.
I'm in the combine for real, and we're about to pick some of our corn, so here we go. Alright, gotta make sure that we're in turtle speed right now. Then I gotta click these two buttons. This is gonna turn on the separator in my header. Here we go. You can hear the change of noise. You can see that my header's running, but we gotta crank her up, so I gotta go all the way up to rapid speed. There we go. I'm gonna lower my header. I'm gonna hit the 3 button right here on my joystick. Here we go, watch it go down. I'm ready to rock and roll. Here's the combine and grain car unloading together. Normally they would be going side by side, but we're opening this field up, so there's just not very much room to go by. So they've stopped and dumped, and then hopefully we'll have more room to unload on the go here shortly. All right, now it's my turn here. So I'm continuing, the grain cart's moving with me. Going down the field, I'm harvesting as I dump. And it's going in the back of that grain cart. Boys and girls, thank you so much for joining Farm Bureau and High Plains Harvesting today. I'm so glad we had a chance to show you around our combine and talk to you a little bit about harvest. And Steph wanted to make sure that I remind you that if you ate today, make sure you thank a farmer, and God bless America.